Hello, Miracle Makers, and tonight we are reviewing Lesson 109 from A Course in Miracles based on the handwritten notes of Helen Schuckman. I rest in God. I rest in God. And before we go through the lesson, Reverend Susan Stone will lead us in our posture and meditation. Go ahead.
Okay, hello everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're really excited to have you here. And don't forget to enter in your favorite, Joanne, you just did it, right? Your favorite quote from the Course in Miracles. And you can enter in by just sending in your favorite quote on the comments. And in 2 weeks, we're going to do the drawing for this book. So it's like a $48 book, I think. So it's a good deal. All right, so let's do the posture. Today we're going to put our left ankle on top and our left wrist. So you put your left wrist on top, roll your fingers, and you can just relax into your lap or curl up into your chest like that. Close your eyes and put your tongue at the roof of your mouth and start to breathe in through your nose. And you'll notice yourself just settling in and feeling yourself just becoming still within. This is taking us from a beta wave brain state to a slower, more meditative alpha state. So the sentence that we're going to program in today using our whole brain posture is, I rest within the peace of God and I feel safe. So I'll say that again. You're going to repeat it over and over and over in your mind until you feel a shift. So continue to say silently, I rest within the peace of God and I feel safe. I'll say it one more time for us. I rest within the peace of God and I feel safe. And when you feel that shift, it might be an emotional release or just a physical letting go or even an intellectual, I've got this. Go ahead and unlock everything. Unlock your ankles and put your fingers together like this. And with your eyes open, just lock in that statement. I rest within the peace of God and I feel safe. So excellent. We've downloaded this.
Yes.
That's wonderful. And just to remind you, we are a 501c3 charity, and we do certainly appreciate your donations. There's a donate button there, or also you can visit our website, the Academy of Spiritual Awakening.org, and make a donation through that. And great. All right, Kevin, you are ready for us.
Okay, folks, here we go. And by the way, some of you have texted me going, where are you guys? Come on. Look, we started a little late because we really want to check in first and then do Facebook Live and do that kind of backwards, which is a forward way, actually. And look, I want to remind you and the people here as well that this is a safe place. You will not be judged, attacked, guilted, or shamed in any way. only loved. And here at TASA, we are always use words and behaviors that reflects kindness and healing and graciousness and respect and courtesy and being always authentic. And before we move to reviewing the lesson tonight, a few reminders. Our group is every week, Thursday night here in West Palm Beach and on Facebook Live, and we record this. So you can watch the videos and share it with your friends and family on our website, the Academy of Spiritual Awakening.org. We call it TASA, and that's right there as well. And also, we're really happy about announcing a new class here on Course in Miracles starting July 20th. Yes, and there I am on Facebook Live. No worries. And we're going through the 50 principles of A Course in Miracles using our version. Can I just see this for a minute, Joanne? Right here, A Course in Miracles, based on the original handwritten notes of Helen Schuckman. And it is significantly different than the earlier versions that we used before. So it has 50% more words in the first 4 chapters of A Course in Miracles and 2,000 pages more than the previous versions of A Course in Miracles. Also, we have a cooperative in Palm Beach County, and you can meet anybody doing a lesson here of A Course in Miracles in Palm Beach County, and that's in the comments below. And thank you, Jonica Carr, for that. And lastly, we invite you to like and share, and we've got a lot of people tagged as well. And if you want us to tag you, it would really help us, and really has to increase the presence that we have of A Course in Miracles in Palm Beach County and throughout the world, and we're going to change the world together. Okay, so let's get through here, lesson 109, and let's start here, and then we'll go around, and I'll read a paragraph as well. And for those who are reading, thank you so much. If you don't want to read, just say pass, and that's fine. So, lesson 109, I rest in God. Let me turn this on as well.
Do you want me to have just one, the first one, or 2?
Let's do 2.
Okay.
Yeah, that works.
I rest in God. We ask for rest today and quietness, unshaken by the world's appearances. We ask for peace and stillness in the midst of all the turmoil born of clashing dreams. We ask for safety and for happiness, although we seem to look on danger and on sorrow. We have the thought that will answer our asking with what we request. I rest in God. This thought will bring to you the rest and peace, the rest and quiet, peace and stillness, and the safety and the happiness you seek. I rest in God. This thought has power to wake the sleeping truth in you, whose vision sees beyond appearances to that same truth in everyone and everything there is. Here is the end of suffering for all the world and everyone who ever came and yet will come to linger for a while. Here is the thought in which the Son of God is born again to recognize himself.
Okay, a couple of things here. Every night, I say one of 3 lessons to my mind. The first one is, I rest in God. And I say this over and over again every night until I know it in the deepest part of my mind. I rest in God, because the temptation is to really experience rest within time and space. And that is absolutely useless. You want to begin where all correction occurs, and that is in the level of mind. That is where causation occurs. It does not occur within time and space. It occurs within the mind. So, and by the way, we're going to do the other 2 lessons next week and the week after, and then we're going to start through the miracle principles in A Course in Miracles. So, a few things about both paragraphs that was read here, and then I'll ask any questions that you have and any comments that you want to reply about. We asked for rest today. That's an important statement. We ask for rest because most of the time we're not asking for rest. We're asking for something else. Something to improve myself, to be happier, to be more with clarity and so forth. That is not really, look, that is the symptom. The cause of your happiness, the result of your release and freedom, comes from you attaching yourself and tethering yourself to this simple statement: I rest in God. I rest in God. The second one here in the first paragraph, we ask for peace and stillness. Now, I really hope that you get this concept, okay? And the operative word there is peace. Peace, peace. You know, in our board of TASA, and Susan knows this very well, that we have agreed with each other that what we want to experience is peace. And the Course in Miracles says, look, when 2 people can agree that the peace of God is all that they really want in this experience, it is enough to change the world. Okay? So regardless of what we are experiencing together or individually, when you have to know that the peace of God is the primary responsibility of the miracle maker, the miracle worker. So how do I experience peace? Any thoughts about that? Any comments about that? What makes you guys think about fear? Or not fear, but peace. If you're experiencing fear, what do you do? And I'm going to give you the formula and the recipe for this, but I want to give you your...
Well, what I do is I usually get in whole brain position and I allow all the thoughts and feelings to come up until I get to a place of peace. And then usually what I say to myself is, be still and know that I am God. And I just say that a couple times before I get out and break and put that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
Hey, everybody has their own path. You look like you have a method.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
I do what I'm not supposed to do, and that's battle with the moment.
Okay. You know what, Joanne? That is exactly what we are doing. You want to stop the battle.
Right.
You know, you want to get off of it. Because if you're not experiencing peace, for instance, it is because you engage in the what A Course in Miracles calls the first law of chaos. Okay? What is the first law of chaos? It is a notion that I'm separate from you, number one. Okay? That my values, my perceptions are different than yours. Okay? And not only that, but my values and my perceptions and so forth is better than yours. And because of that one step in the descent toward hell, you're not at peace in that moment. So you have to recognize and become aware that you, yourself, you have a responsibility to know this, that you have drawn a line between myself and the world. You see this? Okay, so when you remove those lines of demarcation, then you have an experience of forgiveness. You have an experience of oneness. You have an experience of bliss. You have essentially left the battlefield entirely. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, I see that because when you can take that moment and know that everything is in divine order and that there's a blessing and everything is happening in your highest good, you go from being a martyr or victim or a resistor to being accepting all things as they are, right? And you go to being at peace with the situation. So what is it? The pain is in the resistance, I always say. And when we stop resisting the moment, and you say this all the time, I accept all things as they are.
I accept all things as they are, as opposed to what the egoic device that's been given to you by the voice of fear, which says to you and I, look, the world should look like this. You know, my spouse Erin, who's here watching us, I'm sure. Hi, Erin.
He loves
You know, we were at home on the couch and we were watching TV, and then he put the mute on TV and he says, "You know what, Kevin?" I said, "What?" He said, "You know, where you are right now regarding your recovery from the brain surgeries and so forth," he said, "I think that you're here in a very marvelous way because you did not know how you should be in that moment. In other words, you didn't listen to the stories or their perceptions of other people that said, do this, do this, do this, and you didn't listen to any of them. You just did it. You didn't listen to the doctors that said, hey, you shouldn't be walking right now. You should not be going out and so forth. I didn't even hear these stories at all. So all I did was get up from the bed and walk to Starbucks and say hello to people and engage. That's what I did. So I did not. So listen, I want to be very clear here. So it's a difference because this is a Course in Miracles, okay? And it is the idea that I have two dynamics here. One is, and this will bring release and joy, I accept all things as they are right now. Mm-hmm. And when that occurs, the miracle then occurs. The moment that you listen to the voice of the ego that wants to come into the present moment and say, wait a minute here, Joanne needs to do this and that, should act more appropriately. And Joanne, you look just fine. I'm just using as an example here. The moment that your should comes over to the present moment, then you miss the gift that is being delivered to you each and every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day. That's it. Do you have anything?
No.
Okay. Now, on the second paragraph, it mentioned the statement as well, this thought has the power to wake the sleeping truth in you. Now that's very powerful because you have to really understand that, again, you're in one of two dynamics here. One is you're asleep. And when you're asleep, you don't know that you're sleeping, but we know when you're sleeping, when you identify solely with the past and the future. You begin to awaken when you live and move and abide in the eternal timeless now. This is why it says this thought has the power to wake the sleeping truth in you, meaning that there's a possibility that you might be asleep right now. Okay, and you're waking sleeping. That's what we call it, as opposed to your sleeping states. Okay, here is the thought in which the Son of God is born again to recognize himself. Why? Because you look at the world anew. Because you are in the present moment fully and you don't use anymore the tools of separation from the past or the future to navigate yourself through this life. But you're fully and completely and have conviction to be here and now. That's it. Okay. I'll do 3 and 4 if I can read it. I think I can. If not, I'm going to pass it off here. I rest in God. Completely undismayed, this thought will carry you through storms and strife, past misery and pain, past loss and death, and onward to the certainty of God. There is no suffering it cannot heal. There is no problem that it cannot solve. And no appearance will turn to truth before the eyes of you who rest in God. This is the day of peace. You rest in God, and while the world is torn by winds of hate, your rest remains completely undisturbed. Yours is the rest of truth. Appearances cannot intrude on you. You call to all to join you in your rest, and they will hear and come to you because you rest in God. They will not hear another voice than yours because you gave your voice to God, and now you rest in him and let him speak through you. Okay, a couple of things here. In paragraph 3, where it says completely undismayed, this thought will carry you through storms and strife. So there is a story, and I think it is called I Need Do Nothing, okay? And it's in the cameos and, of course, in Miracles. You only find that in this version, by the way, which is on the bookstore here and here as well. But Jesus wanted Helen Schuckman to really understand what this meant for her. And so he said to her, look, imagine a hurricane, okay, that's going around you. And it's obviously full of strife and conflict and so forth. And so he says to her, look, instead of being in the hurricane, instead tether yourself to the eye of the storm instead. Identify yourself instead to the center of the storm. So then approach your life then from the premise that you are centering yourself within the storm and not within it. Now, when you understand your identity, then you, from time to time during the day, will go into the hurricane. And you can help people, okay? You can give a miracle here and there and so forth, and to yourself as well. But that's not going to happen unless and until you really see yourself as the resting in God instead of resting in time and space and in the hurricane around yourself. That's the difference. You see the difference mentally as well?
Be the I. Be
yes.
the I.
Be the I. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay. No, nobody?
No.
Okay.
We don't have anybody. Anybody online want a question? Go right
Yeah,
ahead.
if anybody online has a question, let us know. Okay. There, in paragraph 3, it says, there is no suffering it cannot heal. There is no problem that it cannot solve. Now, I know you probably have a question about that, don't you guys? If you do, let me know. Okay, or give me your commentary as well. There is no suffering it cannot heal. You say, Kevin, how is it going to heal suffering? I'll tell you how it brings healing to suffering. Because you uproot, in that moment and resting in God, you uproot the cause of all suffering within your world. In other words, you uproot the lines and the divisions that you have placed within yourself and the world. Okay? And this is the reason why healing occurs in your life and in our lives as well. When a person understands and accept the gift that has been given from a person or from their source, when they say this, I accept the gift that has been given to me by removing every obstacle that I have placed between myself and healing. Does that make sense? By again uprooting ourselves from the notion that I am separate from you, that you are separate from me, that we are separate from our source. When we remove that illusion, boom, healing then occurs. And then finally, in the 4th paragraph, where it says, appearances cannot intrude on you. Wow. So that means, okay, that we want to experience the freedom that is the result of resting in God by removing yourself. Let me just say it a different way. You want to shut your eyes to time and space. Okay? Do not allow, and I'm not going to allow it either, to remove myself from the appearances in time and space, because all that you really are interacting with is time and space. And when you do that, when you react and respond to time and space and the appearances, you remove yourself from the eternal timeless now. And so because of that, you remove yourself from the gift. And this is a tendency, by the way, to restrict the distribution of God's abundance and life and love when you restrict yourself to time and space. When I say, for instance, as an example, oh my gosh, I don't experience the abundance that I really want until I get a check next Friday that I'm supposed to get. When I do that, I remove myself from the totality of the abundance that has given to me right now. Okay? Because in that moment, I am tethering myself to a notion that is simply not true. A line and a division that I myself have created and miscreated. Mm-hmm. So it is my responsibility to remove that notion that I have miscreated. You get this? Okay. All right. So, Joanne, it's good to see you here, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go 5 and 6.
All right. In him you have no cares and no concerns, no burdens, no anxiety, no pain, no fear of future, and no past regrets. In timelessness you rest, while time goes by without its touch upon you, for your rest can never change in any way at all. Your rest today, and as you close your eyes, sink into stillness. Let these periods of rest and respite reassure your mind that all its frantic fantasies were but the dreams of fever that has passed away. Let it be still and thankfully accept its healing. No more fearful dreams will come now that you rest in God. Take time today to slip away from dreams and into peace.
Okay, in paragraph 5 it says, in him you have no cares and no concerns, no burdens, no anxiety, no pain, no fear of future, and no regrets. Now, doesn't that seem really freeing? Okay? Yeah. No cares and no concerns. You know, you were just talking about Marianne Williamson, and it just occurred to me that I had dinner with her. I think it was in Singer Island here. And we were talking about this statement as well. And she asked me, you've used the phrase, I don't know, I don't care, and it doesn't really matter. Okay? I have said this many times. Okay? I don't know, I don't care, and it doesn't really matter. And she said, can you please explain that to me?
Now, if a kid says that to the parent, it's attitude. If a child says that to a parent, it's attitude.
Right. But we don't want to have an attitude as we're saying this, But understand, we really want to, Marilyn, to understand the deeper meaning behind it. So I don't know, for instance, okay? And by the way, Marianne Williamson understood this as well. So I don't know, okay? This is true. We don't know what is in our own best interest at all. I don't know. I don't know is the most freeing statement that you can really offer to yourself in the world.
But we know
You know.
subconsciously.
Say this,
We know subconsciously
what do we know subconsciously?
everything, almost everything. Because whether we're getting it from I call it divine intelligence.
Okay. So let me qualify that from the parlance of A Course in Miracles. Yes, the subconscious is full of negative emotions and feelings and so forth. Because of that, we have to do what A Course in Miracles asks us to do. Trace the effect back to the cause. Whereas the Tao says, trace the children back to the mother. So you have to know, where did these feelings and emotions came from? Okay? Again, as I mentioned earlier as well, that all causation occurs in the level of mind, not in the level of form. Okay? So, yeah, the subconscious does exist, okay? And it is repressed. And that's why it's subconscious. So we don't want to look at it at all, okay? So who miscreates, then, the content within the subconscious?
You do.
We do. Okay. This is a good... Okay. Again, we have to qualify this as well.
But intuitively, we do know when we reach into our intuition or our super brain or
Higher
whatever,
self.
higher self.
True.
God.
Okay, so that really answers the question that I really wanted to ask, okay? Who is talking here? Because one of two voices is talking in your head. One is the thoughts of the ego, okay, in time and space, or the thoughts of God, which is in your mind, the mind of God. That is your mind. So the mind of God does not have a subconscious, is what I'm trying to say. Your reality, okay, in the eternal timeless now is here and now, and nothing occurs in the past and the future, only what is happening right now. Does that make sense? You have some questions?
Pretty much.
Okay. Yes, you have questions, or pretty
No,
much I
no,
understand?
Pretty much it makes sense.
Okay. And if you have, you okay? Okay. Everybody's good. Okay. Wow. Okay. So you just read 5 and 6?
5 and 6.
Okay. And then 6, it says, let these periods of rest. Oh, by the way, I didn't finish my statement earlier. I was being distracted here by myself. I don't know. Everybody understands that, right? I don't care. Well, okay. I don't care. Why? I have given all of my cares and concerns to my source. I don't have to care or have any concern, as this is very clear in this lesson, at all. Okay? I cast my cares and concerns to my source, my Father. Okay, number 1. Number 2, rather. And number 3, it doesn't really matter. Now, there's a statement in A Course in Miracles that says that all events, past, present, and to come, are set by one who knows what is in your best interest. Okay? That's why your own egoic evaluations mean nothing to you whatsoever. And the moment that it matters to you, okay, in time and space, then again you remove yourself from the gift that and the treasure that has been given to you right here and right now. Okay, so those 3 things, and I think that Marianne understood this in our dinner, talking about those 3 aspects. Okay, 8 and 9.
7 and 8.
I'm sorry, 7 and 8. Thank you.
Each hour that you take rest today, a tired mind is suddenly made glad. A bird with broken wings begins to sing. A stream long dry begins to flow again. The world is born again each time you rest, and hourly remember that you came to bring the peace of God into the world, that it might take its rest along with you. With each 5 minutes that you rest today, the world is nearer waking, and the time when rest will be the only thing that there is comes closer to all worn and tired minds, too weary now to go their way alone. And they will hear the bird begin to sing and see the stream begin to flow again, with hope reborn and energy restored to walk with lightened steps along the road that suddenly seems easy as they go.
Wow. Look, I want to mention something to you guys here. You know, I want to be authentic and so forth, right? Because everything happens in our experiences. We all have moments, have we not? Mm-hmm. Of course we have.
For sure.
So
I always say it's called being human.
Yeah. So one time here in West Palm Beach, at the time I had a convertible and the top was open, and I'm riding through Okeechobee, and I stopped at a stoplight. And at that moment, this happened I think 15 years ago, okay? And I was stopped, and all of a sudden, 2 8-foot poles fell from the condo to my right, right on my car, right behind me, and then a brace that was this big, that was a steel bar, fell from 6 stories up, right on my car, boom!
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
So right in front of me and right behind me, okay? I know. So
Jeez.
I was, oh my God, unnerved. Very unnerved and grateful that I was even alive, okay? I've had moments, by the way, where I just walk away from what should be death, okay? But I did. As a result, though, I didn't even realize for about 2 to 4 weeks after that I experienced PTSD. And so I went to a doctor, and he said, you have to take a Xanax every day. And I'm like, what? And I did. This is like, I don't know, 15 years ago. And I said, sure, I'll take a Xanax to calm me down, because I couldn't even drive. I was afraid of being pummeled again.
It creates agoraphobia.
What?
It creates agoraphobia.
Yes, an agoraphobia. And so, over a year, and I think that he did it improperly, but he would increase my Xanax regularly, up to like 3 bars a day.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It was not helpful. But I didn't know what I was doing.
Good.
Like
a zombie.
Yeah, I was a zombie. But I didn't want to do this anymore, so I called my mother in Kansas City, and I said, Mom, I need to come home for a little bit, because I want to release myself from this Xanax. It's evil. It's not helpful for me whatsoever. So I went home, and I went through withdrawal and everything with the support from my mother. God rest her in peace. And then the Xanax left me, okay? And I remember that day, I was on the porch with my mother, and I said, Mom, I said, can you hear the birds? Can you experience the beauty of this day? And she said, of course I do. And I said, Mom, this is in A Course in Miracles. And I opened this. Did you read, by the way, paragraph 8 too? I think you did.
Yeah.
Okay, where it says, and they will hear the bird begin to sing and see the stream begin to flow again. When you begin to release yourself of illusions, as you release yourself from chains, then you are free. The Son of God is free from chains when he realizes that he is free. When he is in chains, he will be in chains. You see the difference here? And this happened just last night. Aaron and I were on the patio, and I just had this sense of beauty and love and joy, and we're outside. And I said to Aaron, Aaron, what a beautiful day. I said, I can smell everything. It's so beautiful. And an aroma and a sense of deep joy and peace. And I said to him, do you experience this too right now? And he said, no, because our neighbors right there are arguing outside. And you can't see that? And I said, no, I did not realize that we had our neighbors outside yelling like crazy. Why? Because my identity is not in time and space, in the eternal, timeless now. That's where you get the gift. You get this? Wow.
And appearances have no effect on you.
No, this is true, because what you are responding to is not a direct experience, but rather what you are responding to is your interpretation of things that are happening. So you have a responsibility then to change your mind. Okay.
That is so true. And she's kept insisting that the world is a mean place until I let it pass the first time, the second time, the third time. And then I just very simply said, your perception is your reality. Well, I've never seen anybody get so, well, yeah, I've seen other people get so angry, but she became infuriated. And I just tried to back off and let it go, because there's no sense in arguing. She doesn't understand that, and you would think that she would understand, having taken the basic course, that her perception, that everybody, not her, everybody's perception is the reality. Before I did anything like this, or psyche or anything, I was always aware of that people's perception is, and not only is it their reality, it creates their reality.
Yep.
But if you're not on that level, you just don't get it. You could take all the spirituality and Course in Miracles and psyche, and if you're not on that level, you just don't get it. So there's no sense in even trying to explain it if somebody's so walled off that they won't even agree to disagree.
Look, the world can only give to you what you are giving to it. And you're absolutely correct. So if you're giving to the world your doom and gloom, boom. That's what you're going to experience.
Boom.
Did I just say that?
Yeah, I love that.
Well, it was like this person had one or two things that were pretty serious happen to her in her life in recent years. Well, I've had 50 things happen. I'm not sitting here like a sourpuss, unhappy, angry at the world. And I guess it's just whatever.
Marilyn, and I have to remind myself every day, and I have, because the moment that I have a temptation to bring an attack to my brothers and sisters, I have to become aware of this,
Right, and that's why I just backed off and let it go.
Yeah, you refrain. Right, okay. So what I'm referring to is the statement from the cameos. You won't read this in the text or the manual for teachers, but in the cameos, Jesus said, the past is gone. I have mentioned this almost every week because I have to know it 100%, that the past is gone. And with its passing, the drive for vengeance is uprooted and disappears. Okay. In other words, you are not reacting to or responding to in the world from the past and the future. Why? Because the past is gone. And Roz Borders put a little statement about the future too recently as well. I think it was yesterday, that the future is not here. It's not now. And therefore, it has no reality and substance whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So all of your reality is right here and right now. And when we use the past and the future as a frame of reference to navigate ourselves through, we are in hell.
Yeah, we're in fear.
Well,
and fear, thank you.
And like this situation, I had just finished donating 4 hours at her drug rehab center. I was doing Psych K. It was good practice. I didn't mind doing it. Okay, so people aren't horrible, and that was one of my statements. I'm not horrible. I'm a really good person. Okay, it takes a lot for me to do something that's not good, because I'm not perfect, and what have you. And it's like, and I guess the answer is also sometimes just to divorce yourself from that energy when you see it coming out.
It's true, but keep in mind this one thing. That old metaphysical statement. If I
attract it. If it's me, I.
But there's another way of saying it.
When you say it.
If you spot it, you got it. Okay, that one. If you spot it, you got it. So that means that we have to become aware that what we are discussing here are illusions generally. Okay. So I have to know as well that if I spot it, I have to know that I've got it in my psyche. It would not be in my psyche had I not miscreated about it. So keep in mind that we do have a difference here not between you and me, but between what I'm giving to you from A Course in Miracles and what the world wants to give to you instead. A difference between miscreation and creation. Miscreation, you have the ability to create experiences using time and space, manipulating and orchestrating time and space to bring a result that you think you like is in your best interest. So that's miscreation and what A Course in Miracles calls magic. And you can do that, sure, but you're going to be very disappointed, okay? The other avenue that you can take instead is creation. Creation does not occur in time and space. I have said this before today, but I'll say it again so everybody understands that all creation really occurs in the level of mind, which is the level of causation. And this is a huge notion that students of A Course in Miracles has. Can I miscreate in this realm? Sure, you can experience magic, miscreation, and so forth. But really, you want to create, not miscreate. And the way to create is to fully do it through the level of mind, not the level of body. So this is why this is a course in content and not in form of any kind. You see the two levels there? One is
content versus form.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, the content is like the water flowing through the riverbed, and the riverbed is like the form. So content is the energy flow, and form is the riverbed.
Yeah, she's probably quoting from Urantia, which says the riverbed is not the river. Okay? There's two different things here.
That's like the brain is not the mind.
Right.
Yes. You're right. So then you have the difference then between the causation that occurs in the level of mind, and then you have the effect, the world of form. Can we make effect in time and space? No. It's an effect. It's already done and over with. We can affect change in our minds. That is the level of causation. Okay? Okay, good. Let's move on then. It's 8:17. We got about 15 minutes left. Where's my lessons? There we go. Okay. So, we're on, I think, 9 and 10. Susan, can you do that?
Sure. You rest within the peace of God today and call upon your brother from your rest to draw them to their rest along with you. You will be faithful to your trust today, forgetting no one, bringing everyone into the boundless circle of your peace and the holy sanctuary where you rest. Open the temple doors and let them come from far across the world and near as well. Your distant brothers and your closest friends, bid them all enter here and rest with you. You rest today within the peace of God, quiet and unafraid. Each brother comes to take his rest and offer it to you. We rest together here, for thus our rest is made complete. And what we give today we have received already. Time is not the guardian of what we give today. We give to those unborn and those passed by, to every thought of God, and to the mind in which these thoughts were born, and where they rest. And we remind them of their resting place each time we tell ourselves, I rest in God.
Okay. I'm going to go through these two paragraphs, but how are you doing?
Good.
You have any questions?
Not yet.
Okay. We're all good then, right? Okay. 9. You rest within the peace of God today and call upon your brothers from your rest to draw them to their rest along with you. Look, we have a responsibility as a miracle maker, and we are, okay, to express ourselves from a posture and a mentality of complete love and extreme forgiveness. What am I looking at here?
This Charlie's just
I was looking at the ceiling and I'm wondering what he's doing.
Oh, he's looking probably at the crystals up there.
I see things. And I'm
Or
just wondering-
maybe he's seeing a ghost or something.
Well, yeah.
Hey, Charlie, come here, boy. Come here. We're more interested than the good boy. Here
Well,
we go.
strange,
Here.
that's all.
Can we show this to
Yeah.
Charlie here? Charlie's being a little distracted here, as we are too as well. So this is Charlie.
Sorry. I just-
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Who's the best dog?
I am the light of the world. Yes, so am I. So am I. Okay. So, let me go back to what I was saying here. We have a responsibility individually to really change our minds about the world. We're not here to change the world. We are here to change our minds about it. And when we do that, and, you know, if I have any friends, and I do here in Miami or West Palm Beach, who's having a difficult moment, it's my responsibility to change my mind about it. So if a person is having a difficult moment, I can say, okay, my friend Bob is having a call to love. Mm-hmm. Bob is having a call to love. Bob is having a call to abundance. Whatever. You see the difference here? You change your perception about what is occurring individually or collectively. And when your change of mind, and this lesson talks about this too, but when you rest in God, as I do every night, I say it over and over and over again, I rest in God, I rest in God. I see myself in the center of the storm, in the eye of the storm, and I'm safe, okay? I have security, I have protection, I have everything from my source. And when I do that, I know that the world will change accordingly. Okay? The whole world. Okay? Because my experience of everything that is happening in terms of appearance changes within me. My experience changes when my mind changes as well. So I don't want to give my power away to time and space at all. Okay? I don't want to be dragged by time and space. But to understand the importance of forgiveness as a process of truly being here now, releasing ourselves from chains and enslavement. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
It does.
So, this is why open the temple doors and let them come from far across the world and near as well. Your distant brothers and your closest friends, bid them all enter here and rest with you. You know, every time, I try to do this every day where I'm writing a letter here to Jesus and really communing with him, okay? So today I wrote this statement, and it isn't from this lesson, but it is germane to what we are discussing this evening. And I wrote, bring them to us. Not to me, but to us. You know, our collective team to really try to wake the sleeping minds of the Son and the daughter of God. So that is our responsibility to make sure that we can bring people to our awareness by really having the premise of inclusion instead of exclusion. So again, everyone is included in that with me. And no one is left out whatsoever. And this is what Jesus knew in the New Testament as well. You know, if a sheep of a herd of sheep, or what they call it, a herd?
I don't know.
I don't know what they call it.
I think they do.
It's a herd.
Okay, a herd of sheep, right? And then one goes out by himself. What does Jesus do? We go and get that sheep and bring him back into the fold. And this is what we do as a miracle worker and a miracle maker, is if anybody is outside, is asleep, and we want to awaken them and help them to awaken, we have the responsibility to offer to them the miracle. And it is their responsibility to accept it or to what? Reject it. How many friends that you guys have that rejects from time to time to time a gift that has been given to you or that you have given to them? I'll give you an example. I had a neighbor that I lived near here in West Palm Beach, and over, and I'm not going to be specific about this, but he would offer me gifts, okay? And initially I was like, nope, I'm good, thank you. I'm going to, go elsewhere. And it could be as simple as a dinner or whatever. But for some reason, I just said, no. And then one day I said, you know what? I'm being too exclusive here, and let's do this. And look, the moment that I opened the door, as this lesson refers to, I said to him, I said, you know what, my friend? I said, I have made a mistake here. I'm not guilty here, but I have made a mistake with you in rejecting the gifts that you have given to me. You see this?
Yeah, because when you're a giver, you're not allowing, and you get pleasure from giving, you're not allowing somebody else to have the pleasure of giving, if you don't receive. Because
Yeah.
I learned this one the hard way.
Yeah. Look, it happened recently to me as well. I'd given a gift to another neighbor, not the same one, and initially, he just immediately rejected it because he was unaware of the gift that was given to him. Because if he knew of the gift,
Right.
he would have said, absolutely.
Right.
But no, he had his own motivations or agenda or something.
Perception.
or perception about me that was completely not true whatsoever. And when he became aware of it, he was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. You have given me a wonderful gift, and I just said no. But it wasn't me saying no, it was my ego that has a temptation to want
Well,
to
they think they'll owe
reject
something.
you.
Yeah, and also they think that they'll owe you something.
Right.
And the society in which we live today, that's not always, but frequently.
But sure, that it is our modality because we don't want to have an agenda or expectations whatsoever. That's why, one of the reasons we really don't want to have the chains here as well, or online. Yeah, we invite people to give us a love offering or to really help to further our message. Are we happy or unhappy because of it? No, because happiness is not contingent to time and space. Mm-hmm. Our worth comes from God, not from the world. But from time to time, we accept those gifts. You know, we don't want to reject it, because the temptation is to want to what's the word I'm looking for? That we want to wholly and with totality object to the world, generally and individually. There's a temptation. That's why people attack all the time. And then the last paragraph as well. And I love this. We rest today here, for thus our rest is made complete, and we give today we have received already. Time is not the guardian of what we give today. This is what you just talked about, Susan. Time is not the guardian of us. What is our guardian? Our source, our Father, whatever you want to call it. That is our guardian. And that's what I do every night when I sleep. I rest in God. Why? God is my guardian.
You know, when you said that the first time I heard you say that you do that right before, as your head hits the pillow.
Yep, I do.
It's really a really good thing to try, because it does just seem to just let go of all the day's worry and concern, and to just feel that security come, so that you do have a restful peace at sleep. I mean, it's a really wonderful gift to give yourself.
And not only that, but the sleep is a deep sleep.
Yes,
from it.
because it's so secure. It
Yeah.
feels as if you're being held.
And I'm safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Any final questions or comments about this?
No, good lesson today, Kevin.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all, and thank you, Susan, for hosting and everything. We very much appreciate it. And if no one has told you today that they love you, allow me to be the first. I love you so much, and you are pure light. Thank you.